Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Invest, Buy, and Sell with Jael. You are truly in for a special treat today. We have somebody that I'm super close with. He's a brother, he's a mentor, and just an all around great person. He's an entrepreneur, multiple business owner, and a real estate guru. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mamadou Diallo, Mr. Boom himself.
Thank you, Jael. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that introduction. Fantastic. I love it, guys. My name is Mamadou Diallo. For those who don't know me, been doing full-time real estate. By the way, if I'm talking funny, I just came from the dentist, so don't worry about it. My left side is a little bit numb right now, so we're gonna knock this out. But guys, no excuses. High achievers just show up. So we're
Exactly.
here. But my name is Mamadou Diallo again. If we've never met before, been in full time in real estate since 2019. Left my corporate job, which was in Belgium. I used to have a 9 to 5 in Belgium. Left it, jumped right into real estate when I discovered real estate, and been doing it full time ever since. So like my partner, sister, and business, like I just this is family, right? As she said, I'm not I'm gonna correct her on one thing. I'm not a guru. I am a duru. A duru is somebody who's actually doing deals and not just talking about it. So
Yeah.
like you called me today, I can show you my most recent HUD properties that we're closing on. I'm working closely with Jael.
Yeah.
Her mom is one of my private lenders and my adopted mom. So guys, that's the difference between a guru and a duru. I am a duru. I do this, I do real estate. I'm done just talk about it. So but thank you for that introduction.
Guru and an educator because you actually share
Yeah,
with people how you get the deals done. You tell them the raw, uncut versions. You tell them any mistakes that may have happened and also the big victories, the big
yeah.
wins. So, Mama
100.
Do, where are you from originally?
So originally, I was born in a country called Guinea Conakry. That's in West Africa.
Mhm.
So I come from a Muslim household. My dad had a lot of kids. My mom alone, so he was married to 4 wives. All of us know each other. Okay, it's not like concubines. He had wives.
I
Okay,
love it.
and so my mom had all in all 12 kids. So I have 12 siblings just for my on my mom's side. And my mom passed away when I was turning 7 years old. She passed away. She was pregnant and she passed away with the baby as well. So I was turning 7 at the time, and so my mom took my mom. Obviously she was everything for us. And when she passed away, we were all super young. Like I'm one of the youngest. I have after me, I have one little brother and then two little sisters. Right. By the way, all of them entrepreneurs, and we'll get into the story how where we got that from. But when she passed away, we got split because we're so little. Like my youngest little sister, when my mom passed away, she still couldn't walk. She was still almost breastfeeding. Her name
Wow.
is Mariam, and she had to be sent to my uncle, and my uncle's wife is who breastfed her and took care of her. So we got split, and me, the super stubborn Mamadou, I was one of the most stubborn kids you can ever deal with. And so
Uh-oh.
my dad decided, you know what, for your own good, I'm going to send you away. And so he sent me away at the age of, I think I was turning 8.
Mm.
All right, so as soon as my mom passed, I think I didn't spend more than 1 year later in Guinea. Then he sent me to Ivory Coast, where I stayed with one of my half sisters for I think 3 years. And then from Ivory Coast I got sent again. That's my life story. I got sent again to Belgium, and that's where I got to Belgium. I was probably 10, 11. Then I got sent to a refugee camp, which is I grew up in that refugee camp. Is where refugee camp is where like because when I was in Ivory Coast, a political war broke up, so we
Wow.
had to leave. We had to flee from the country. And so when I reached Belgium, I got sent alone to that refugee camp. And that refugee camp is where you have all these kids that are coming from war countries, lost their parents, don't have maybe family, whatever. So I grew up with all these different nationalities from all different walks of life, Asia, Arab countries, Africa, different parts of, that's where I grew up from the age of 11 to 17 years old. I was in a refugee camp.
Mama Do, the big takeaway here is first of all, thanks for being so transparent with us. If for all the people that are gonna watch this and all the people in the future, look at all the adversity that Mama Do has overcome because we're gonna take you on a journey of where he is now, and it's unbelievable. So I'm tired of hearing the excuses, like my brother said, because there should be none
I
because
should
of
be none. Yeah.
all of the relocation and then just figuring it out and getting to where you are now, which we're going to go to.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you about excuses, right? Even on my for my own life. When I left at the age of 7, then I got sent from Ivory Coast to the refugee camp. I was angry as a kid because I was like, man, I have such a big family. Why am I here alone, right? But I understand, like my dad was a religious leader, super active in the community and in the country, known even by the politicians, and so he's always on his duty. And so we're gonna go into that, but that's now at 33 years old. It's just now that I realized that I actually got my drive from my dad.
yes.
Right. And so my dad didn't have a lot of time in terms of he took care of all the kids. We all know each other. Like he had a lot of kids. I'm not gonna say the number here. I don't want to track anybody. But we all know each other though. We were all born in the same place. My dad at a very young, early age, from the time as soon as you start talking, so from the time you're 2, you start talking in the morning, 6 a.m. You're up, and you have to go read the Quran.
Wow.
That's how your journey starts, right?
Mhm.
So we're educated in a certain way, and never seen my dad work. And so when I left, the reason I'm saying this because I know a lot of people use the excuses of, oh, my family wasn't there, and this and that, and it's like, okay, I get that. So that happened to me when I arrived at that refugee camp jail.
Mhm.
So when you go to Belgium, in any country actually, even here in the US, people that come here and ask for, which my family went through here in the US, right? You come to Belgium as a child, they take you to that refugee camp, but there is the office that you go first
Wow.
as a kid. So I remember at 5 a.m., I was there, very scared. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Where am I going? What am I doing? And then they say, you just walk in this office and you tell your story.
Mhm.
And you walk in that office, there is a bunch of people, and they ask you a bunch like, what you doing here? Where you from?
Wow.
Why you come in this country? Blah blah blah. All the things. People know how that goes, right? And then they hand you. Mind you, at the time, I barely knew how to read and write. And they hand you a train ticket and go because they have to see where is a space you can fit in because these refugee camps are packed.
Oh my
And
God.
so they hand you a train ticket and then a map, a plane map to find your way. I'm like, I've never seen a map in my life. What the heck? I'm like,
What?
where do you want
You're
me? And
7.
so right,
Oh my gosh.
and they send me to the and I found my way and stuff. Anyway, that's a long story. I got lost and a guy that was super drunk in the train, is the one that helped me find my way. But then when I arrived at the refugee camp, I started crying. The first day I got there, it's like refugee camps is usually I don't know here because in the U.S. my family came as diplomats and students, right? But in Belgium, as in the refugee camp is almost like a jail cell.
Yeah, it's what it
You have,
sounds like.
exactly. You have
Interrogation
a
in jail.
big, yeah, you have like a big gate, literally like the jail. You know those green,
Mhm.
blue. Yeah, that's what you have.
Wow.
Walk in there, and then it's all people you don't know. They tell you this is your room, blah blah blah. So I come in there and I see all these kids, and they send me to a town where nobody speak French.
Mm,
And where I'm from,
that's
that's
the
why people,
native language. Mhm.
right? And I arrived there, and I just remember just sitting down on the floor, and I started crying, like, what the heck am I doing here? I have a family. Why is my family don't love me? Like all these things started going through my head, right? I have a big. Why? What am I? I was so angry. I swear to God, I was so angry, right? Until 3 days later, one of the kids right in front of my room. So we share rooms, right? But right in front of my room, one of the kids, they were from Rwanda, and then other kids were from Afghanistan. Okay, the kid from Rwanda, we're just talking about where we're from, family and stuff, and I learned that this guy watched. I survived the war, but none of my family got killed in that war.
Thank God.
Okay?
Mhm.
Thank God. A lot of people got killed. But that kid that I'm telling you about, his family, he watched his family get killed in front of him.
Oh my gosh.
Every single body. And he was there living with me, his older brother. And then you had kids from Afghanistan, right? They would say stories like, "Man, I'm bored here." And if you ask them why, they go, "Because I cannot hear the bombs."
Oh my God.
Traumatized of hearing these things that now they cannot hear it and they're bored.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa.
People
I
have
told
it worse.
Yeah, I
Shocking.
told myself that day, Mamadou, you better shut the hell up Your parents is alive. You can walk into a phone store right now and call your dad, which I used to do. I talk to my dad every single day.
Uh-huh.
He made sure I didn't forget my native language. It's just that he had so many kids that, hey, you gotta go get educated, blah blah blah. That's all he was trying to accomplish, right? And so that day on, I decided, you know what? F the excuses. There's people that have way worse than I am.
That
I'm
is
gonna
so
enjoy this
true.
journey. I'm gonna enjoy this journey and just enjoy my friends and live life.
That's why
So
you're so strong today, Mamadou. That is so, so deep. I mean, people in the US and a lot of children can't even imagine being in a war zone and then being on
absolutely.
your own. And just the power and the strength of your dad to say, you can do it, son. You got to figure it out for now, but look at where you
Yeah,
are now. So I
yeah,
do want
yeah.
to get into like what businesses have you started and created from scratch from being an entrepreneur and, how are those operating today?
So I failed a lot of them before I discovered real estate. But in real estate, when I got into it, at first I thought it's all about just houses. Then I discovered no. I started with wholesaling real estate. That was my doorway to the real estate investing realm, right?
Mhm.
So because it's like I didn't have the money, so
Yeah.
wholesaling was a no-brainer. I can build my capital. But then when I got into it, I realized that in order to be successful in this thing, I actually don't just have to go and look for houses, ugly houses or whatever. I completely have to shift my mindset.
Yes.
I have to stop hanging out with the friends I used to party a lot. That gotta stop.
Mhm.
Never read books. That have to start.
You have to start.
Um, no more music in my cars. Only real estate podcasts, financial literacy podcasts, and all that fun stuff. Up to now, right? And so when I got into this, I realized, you know what? What I'm really learning through wholesaling real estate is a skill of going and finding good deals, learning how to negotiate them at a discount, and
Mhm.
then finding a buyer for it.
Yeah.
And this is a skill like where you're gonna have to bring your communication skill, right? You're gonna have to learn how to communicate. I am naturally a shy person, like naturally.
Mhm.
Crowds is something that scares me. You people don't realize that most often. I mean, a lot of people that follow me, they don't realize it when they say. But I'm like, even the last event that we did, people don't know like how many times I have to go to the restroom and breathe deep
I
before I walk
remember
into
the
the
very
people.
first event when you were like, "Look, I am not comfortable
Right,
speaking." Brother, you are
right,
amazing at speaking, and the way you do it is
right.
just great.
So so I learned that this skill I can transfer it to anything I want. It's just, hey, I'm learning how to communicate, I'm learning how to find good deals, and I'm learning how to close deals. And on top of that, because by nature, I think it came to me through my dad. I just love sharing and teaching.
Mhm.
I can also take this knowledge and teach it to other people, and that's how I actually learn. As soon as I learn something, I'm eager to teach it to someone. That's just how my brain functions.
Mhm.
So that's one aspect of it. So I started with wholesaling real estate, then I transitioned into buying holds. Why? Because I had quit my 9 to 5 in Belgium, obviously, to jump into this. And so for me, it was like, okay, as soon as I got my first deal, which by the way, it took me 8 months to get my first deal.
People
I
don't
got my
know
right. People don't know
dedication.
that, right? People only see the results. They don't see the grind.
Mhm.
They don't see the late nights where I used to put out vendor signs from 11 p.m. to like 5 a.m.
Real estate is nonstop, and you take so many more skills than just finding a
Right.
property.
Entrepreneurship in general. So right
Yeah.
now, the way my business is, after all, the reason I'm saying I don't want to make it seem like this is a quick rich scheme, guys.
No.
I don't go for quick rich scheme. Like Grant Cardone always says, don't go for the quick rich scheme, quick get rich quick scheme. Go for the get rich for sure scheme. That's the journey I'm on. Okay.
I love that.
And so right now we have the wholesaling business, right? And then we have the fix and flip business, which in 2023 we're staying away from. I sold my last one probably 2 weeks ago in Texas virtually. Which your mom was the private lender on that. She got paid. Okay, she got a big payday. My mommy. And what else we have? We have the buy and holds, obviously. Airbnbs. We do a lot of Airbnbs and midterm rentals right now, and I'm starting to get into sober living because
Nice.
Airbnb is a little bit shaky too right now. So I'm about to do my first sober living. This is in Las Vegas, a property we locked up to a real estate agent. Actually, funny, I locked them up on the Zoom. So we have all these moving parts. We have our funding LLC, so we do fund also other people's deals sometimes. And then we have our virtual assistant company. So people hire a virtual assistant from us for all the repetitive tasks, cold calling, texting, admin, whatever it is. And then we have also our affiliate business as well,
Yep.
and e-commerce. We have e-commerce business as well. That's just for here. That's mainly it. So all my businesses are in some way, shape, or form connected to real estate, except the e-commerce one. And more is coming up. I have about 4 or 5 businesses lined up right now. One of my goals this year is to actually buy an already up and running business, but using creative finance that we, about that we do a lot.
Absolutely.
So that's one of my goals this year, and I want that business to be cash flowing at least $100,000 a year.
Wow.
I mean a month. Sorry, not a year, a month.
That's already 8 businesses, I think, if I was counting correctly. And I'm sure by the end of the year, it'll probably be about 24. Because, I mean, Mamadou, the
Yeah,
rate.
I am. I don't consider myself as a real estate investor. I consider myself as a serial entrepreneur, to be honest with you. And that's where I was going with that story. That's what I
Mhm.
learned is like, okay, real estate right now is just the result
Yes.
of the actions that I'm taking. It's just the result, but I'm not in the business of being like I'm not a real estate, just a real estate. I'm just a serial entrepreneur. So the
And
skill that I'm getting, I can use it for whatever.
I tell people
Uh,
all the time, real estate is the vehicle to get the money that you need to do
yes,
other businesses.
yeah,
And also a big takeaway from what you said about your fix and flip business. Yes, you own it, but right now you have to focus on what is the market doing.
hundred
People
percent.
don't pay attention to the market. It's not the time for fix and flips, but when it is, you go right back and get that business going again.
I know a lot of people right now that I actually know personally that are getting foreclosed on because
Hmm.
they so many risks to a lot of flips when the market was luckily I had only one flip on the market. It
Hmm.
was already challenging to sell it. We took a almost $60,000 hit as
Hmm.
far as it was supposed to be a 6-figure deal
Hmm.
profit net. We ended up with 30 grand,
But look
which
at
as
how
you
much
know,
space you left
right,
in there. Smart
right, which
investment.
as you know, right,
Hmm.
as a wholesaler, as somebody that knows how to wholesale, dealing with a property for 5 months and making 30 grand is a waste of my time.
Hmm.
So if you're sitting there thinking that's money, I actually lost money
Yes.
all the time, all the like I have completely lost money. But what do I love? Now I have a story I can tell. Now
Hmm.
I have that's the thing also right now about me and my personality. Sometimes I'll just do deals for fun and to get like stories because like as you can, I'm very passionate about sharing and teaching.
Hmm.
And so I always want something to talk about. And so this was fun. Like I was like, man, to me I made so much money just because of the lesson. I haven't been through the '08 crash.
Yeah.
But now I know what it feels like if you
Yes.
get stuck with all these like bad investments because you're gambling with the market.
The
You
market
know,
shifted overnight. You
yeah,
guys, you got to realize that the market can change in a matter of weeks
you
to the
have to pay
complete
attention.
opposite of where it was. So you got
100%.
to know what you're doing. You got to stay up on your knowledge and you got to stay in the game because that's the only
Yeah,
way you're going to know what's going on.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, so there you have it.
So Mamadou, all of these wonderful businesses, tell the people what markets do you service and who is your ideal client?
So right now, guys, we're in my ideal client is anybody, by the way, with a motivated seller.
Yes.
Hey guys, I don't care if you're an agent, I don't care if you're a wholesaler, I don't care if you're a fix and flipper, I don't care if you're a nurse. If you're a nurse and somebody is sick there and they want to sell their home, call your boy.
Call me.
All right. I don't care. So that's the business that I'm in. But we are in mainly obviously the DMV market, but mainly the Maryland and Virginia mainly. DC depend the area. DC can get tricky, but we're in the DMV market. Texas, one of my favorite. I love Texas, so we're super active there. Florida, love that market, super active there. The Carolinas, like right now, I'm sitting in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in my little apartment where guys, by the way, stop buying freaking primary residence. It's not an
Mhm.
investment. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm here with Jael. She's a
Hey,
realtor.
don't tell them that.
Yeah, we have so Florida, DMV, Texas, the Carolinas, so North Carolina, South Carolina, but mainly North Carolina, Fayetteville, Charlotte, all those surrounding areas. Atlanta, which I'm heading. I'm moving to Atlanta, guys. Just bought my primary home using creative finance, by the
Tell us
way.
a little bit about that, Mamadou.
Yes. So here's the math on the business that we do. Okay,
But
the
first,
math.
what is creative finance for the folks who don't know?
So creative finance, guys, for the folks who don't know, creative finance is buying properties either on seller finance. So when a seller, a homeowner own a property free and clear, for example, and they completely have 100% of equity, but they're married to a number. but they have motivation to let the property go. So there's one way to buy it. With those sellers, we do what is called seller finance. So we convert the seller into the bank. We give them a down payment, make them monthly installment payments, and pay them over time. That's one way, and we do that a lot. Those sellers usually they understand the benefit. They're getting their asking price. They're deferring, the capital gains tax,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of them, even if they get a little bit of a return on their money, because instead of taking that equity, selling it, paying the commissions, then most of it going to the IRS. What they're doing now is they're literally taking their money and investing it in real estate. That's exactly what it is. So like some of them will charge a little bit of interest, and guess what? Now they're tripling their money on top of everything else, right? So that's seller finance. The second one is called subject to. Subject to, guys, is when we buy property subject to the existing loan. Okay, so an example, like my prime residence right now that I bought in Atlanta, most people will go and walk to a bank, take a FHA loan or a conventional loan or a VA loan, whatever it is, and you go through all the crap that they take you through. Okay. This one, what I did is this seller had this property listed on the market for 3-4 months, not selling on the market, obviously. Turnkey property, brand new, built in 2017. So the issue is not the property, the issue is the market. Most properties are not selling. Why? Because of interest rates. And so what I decided to do, I said, hey, why don't you just leave your mortgage in place? Let me take over the responsibility of the monthly payments. You leave the existing loan in your name. We transfer deed and title. I own the property, and you walk away. You sold your house, and now I'm making these payments, and he's repairing your credit, and you don't have to deal with this. He already vacated. He lives in Maryland, works for the military. It's like, shoot, now I live in Maryland. I'm paying rent, and I'm paying a vacant house mortgage in Atlanta. It's like, holy moly, this thing is not selling. So for him, it's like a win-win. On top of that, he was behind because he was starting to get tough. So he was behind maybe 2-3 months
Not
on his
bad.
payment. So
Not
I
bad
got
at all.
caught up on that. So that's subject to, guys. So you can buy a property, leave the loan, the seller's loan in their name in place. You transfer deed and title, and you take over the responsibility of the monthly payments. That's called subject to. We do that
Let
a
me
lot.
tell you why it's so important, Mamadou. Tell me what the interest rate is on that property as a VA loan.
Holy moly, it's like 3.25%.
3.25, and we're looking at sevens on up right now, guys. That
Yeah,
is so
yeah,
powerful.
guys. Yes.
Congratulations on that new home, Mamadou. How many bedrooms and bathrooms is there?
7 bedrooms.
Boom!
Yes, 7 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. And because, guys, I am financially literate, I'm not just gonna take this. This is a single family. I don't need 7 bedrooms. My little girl, Miriam, I have 2 daughters. They don't need 7 bedrooms. My wife don't need 7 bedrooms. So here's what I'm doing, guys. This property has a basement. The basement alone, which is on entrance, have three bedrooms, 1 bath, guys. Okay.
Yes.
This is how you turn a non-asset to an asset. Okay, just buying a primary home, guys, is a liability. It's not an asset. Why? Because it's just taking money out of your pocket. Here's what I'm going to do with this property. The basement, I'm actually going to turn the basement into a cash flow income producing property.
Wow.
I'm going to close the upstairs, rent it out per room. It's going to bring me about 700 per room. They have
Woo!
their own entrance, their own kitchenette, everything. And then we're just going to occupy upstairs when I'm going to set up my podcast studio, actually, physical studio. So that's going to be fun.
I
Uh,
love that, Mamadou. Congratulations. One thing that I really admire that you do is your ability to think outside of the box on several different levels. Yes,
Mm,
you're creative, but you also can recreate situations that make sense for everybody involved. And the power
mm.
of creative finance is making sure that everybody wins. So,
Yes.
as amazing as that deal was, I know that you have some that are even better. Tell me about your most successful transaction.
Oh, my most successful transaction, man. I had a lot of them. My most successful
Your
transaction.
favorite. Let's say your favorite one, the one that
Okay,
stuck.
my favorite because I had a lot of losses and a lot of great. So I would say it wouldn't be. Does it have to be monetary or it's just like how?
No, it can just be your favorite because you have so many. So
Ooh, I have one. I have one. Um, I have actually two, but I just need to give one, right?
you can
So
get both if you like.
okay, I'll give you both, and I'll try to keep the story short. As you guys can tell, I love talking, so be on the lookout for my the Bold Effect podcast, guys. Every single Thursday, where I'll be bringing Jael. Actually, we'll be talking about some fun stuff.
Can't wait.
But I have two. So one of them is a property in Baltimore. Okay, that property got cold called by one of my virtual assistants from CallStar. Okay, which is our virtual assistant company. That's who we use, right?
Mhm.
He got cold called. When I talked to the seller, he is a guy from New York, absentee owner, obviously. He had the tenant in there, and that tenant haven't been paying for about 2 years, I think. And
Ooh.
for some reason, he's having a hard time evicting the tenant. Obviously, blue states, right? It's always a struggle to evict anybody. And so when I called him, I realized that this guy, yes, he has a motivation to sell the home, get rid of the tenant, but he's not desperate for the money. He doesn't need the
Mhm.
money. So there was no way this guy is selling me this property at a discount.
Wow.
A discount enough to where it makes sense to either wholesale it or hold it. Okay.
That's rare.
So because he's an absentee owner in New York, own other real estate around Florida and New York,
It
and
offsets the
he's a,
laws. It
right,
all
and he's a physician. He's a physician's assistant. He
wow.
doesn't need the money. His whole family is like doctors, and he doesn't need the money. Okay.
That renter got lucky, I'll tell you that.
So it's not somebody that you're just gonna call and start lowballing him. He's not gonna sell it at a discount. But he does have motivation in terms of getting rid of the tenant. So everybody that is calling him is just offering him 30 cents on the dollar. Why? Because you gotta get it at that in order to wholesale it, right?
Mhm.
So when I called the guy, when I followed up after, I said, "Hey, listen, we're not a good fit. I cannot buy it." I even brought up the creative finance, but he wasn't having it. Reason being because he absolutely wanted to get the funds to buy a new investment property because he wants to get out of Baltimore altogether. He doesn't want to hear about Maryland anymore. Basically, why? Because of the tenant laws,
Yes.
right? He's like, I'm sick of it. This was his last property. So here's what I decided to do, which most knuckleheads would literally just either throw this lead away or not. Like, here's what I picked up. I realized this guy, he's not money motivated, but he's definitely tenant motivated. And every single body that is calling him is just focusing on making him the offer.
Mhm.
And that's it. I said, listen, hey, I'm not your buyer. We're not a good fit, but guess what? I live about 25 minutes from this property. Here's what I'm gonna do. Your tenant, they cut off their number, right? Like it seems like they either blocked you or they haven't paid their phone bill, which
Wow.
happens all the time. You can't get a hold of them. You're trying to get access to the property to see what's the current condition and all that fun stuff. He said, "Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but I'm not there. I'm in New York." I said, "Listen, great. You know what? I'll take a time out of my day. I'll go there for you, absolutely free. I'll go there, knock on the door, talk to the tenant for you, and see if I can help convince the tenant so that you can do a cash for keys." He didn't even know what cash for keys is.
That takes a lot of
So
guts.
I educated him on what is a cash for keys. I said, listen, sometimes we get rid of tenants this way. We come to them and say, hey, how about we offer you a couple of grants in exchange for the key?
Mhm.
You leave today, we give you 3 grand, 2,500, whatever it is. It's a legal thing to do. By the way, most counties literally have the form. You can
Oh, yeah.
download.
You have to because you can't get them out.
There you go. So he said, "You're gonna do that?" I said, "Yeah, I'll just. It's like 30 minutes from me. I'll just on a Saturday. I'll just drive there. I'll knock on the door. I'll talk to the guy. If he doesn't have a gun, we should be good, right?"
Right.
So he said, "Okay, great." So I said, "But now, in order maybe to make it legal, you know what else? How about you send me a document and you appoint me as your temporary property manager,
Yes.
so I have right
Smart.
action, right?" So he goes, "Guess what? I could have just not done this is like this guy is not there's no way he's selling me his house. We're not a good fit. I already established that, right? Not a good fit on cash, not a good fit on creative finance." So I went there, talked to the tenant, did all that crap, not to make it a long story. And he ended up being able to get rid of the tenant. So I helped him with everything. It took about 2 months.
You
Everything
found
that
the
he
real
needed.
problem as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. He even mailed me the key. So I took care of it, blah, blah. So, now we're talking more. So now we became like really like good buddies. We talk a lot, blah, blah, blah. And every single investor now that was texting him or calling him or sending him direct mail, he will take a picture and send it to me. Take a picture and send it to me, right? So, hey, is this person legit? Hey, look at this. This is funny. Look at how this person sent me this.
Wow.
So the tenant vacated the property. He still ended up selling it to another investor, by the way, not me. Okay. He sent me the contract to help him review the contract to make sure he's not a wholesaler that is going to waste his time.
Mhm.
And so I looked at the contract. I said, listen, if they can do like put 5,000 non-refundable earnest money, all of that, it seems like they're legit. I don't know them personally. He ended up selling it. Boom. What ended up happening, I had a fix and flip coming up, like probably 2, 3 days later. This guy ended up wiring me $50,000 to be my private lender on that fix and flip. Get this, with no paperwork.
Wow.
We did the paperwork like 3 4 days later,
Super, super
literally.
duper win.
And we already got paid back and everything. We already sold that fix and flips in DC a long time ago. But it's to tell you guys, like, when you're on these phones, is like, are you are you focusing just on the deal because you're so deal hungry? Or are you focusing also on building relationships?
The sellers know. They can smell it from a mile away.
The only thing I did is add value to it. It didn't cost me anything other than gas to go to this property. So that's number one. I really love that because it ended up being a great relationship up to today. It's fantastic relationship.
I'd rather build friends than a one-time client.
One-time client, right? He's like, bro, I would have made maybe $10,000 signing that deal, but
nowhere near compared to the value that you gave him and that you received in return.
Right. Now, if I go to New York, you literally always, even if I want to, I can stay at his place. So that's number one. The second one is a lady, again, called by one of our virtual assistants in Illinois, which we're about to turn into a midterm rental. First time we talked to her, vacant house. I love fun deals. Okay, I don't like deals that are too easy to do. So we called her. One of my acquisition called the lady, and she at first she had interest, but she didn't have any motivation. High earner in the finance department. That's how she works in finance departments and stuff. So for her, even the vacant house is not just okay, it's sitting there, but she don't care because she used it as a tax write-off. Okay, so people don't understand that. So it's like, okay, you're just gonna have it vacant. Yeah, if I don't get my number, I'm just gonna have it vacant. So we decided to pivot, obviously, to turn her into the bank. She had a small mortgage and equity. She had about $45,000, and then she had equity also. She wanted to sell it at $150,000. Okay. My acquisition just ended up giving up on this lead. Why? Because he was so focused on what he wants, and not what she's trying to accomplish. So at some point, I was like, you know what? Just get out of the way.
Move out of the way.
Right. So I called her, and then I found out, you know what? This lady, she's not money motivated. She's gain motivated. She invests in stocks, invests in crypto, understand money. She's a fan of Dave Ramsey, right? Pay off. I'm just kidding. But like when I called, I said, okay, listen, I'm just gonna turn you to the bank. How about I just give you a return on your money, right?
Yeah, you speak in her language.
How about I just give you a return on your money? And so it's almost like you invest in stocks, but here the difference is because that's the thing, like she couldn't understand, like she's too afraid of real estate. And I had to it was almost like a crypto versus crypto, stocks versus real estate thing.
What's the return?
Here's the difference. I said the difference between real estate, a lot of people, by the way, I noticed because we talk to a lot of sellers and private lenders and whatnot, a lot of people that are afraid of real estate and say, I don't want to touch it, invest in it, is because they've been born before or they know somebody that have been born by their bad decisions. Okay, so every single bad thing that she brought me about real estate was because either somebody in her circle decided that they don't know nothing about fix and flip and they're going to start real estate through fix and flipping, and then they ended up filing bankruptcy because fix and flips is not what you guys see on HGTV.
No.
Okay, you know what you're doing, right? That's one. Secondly, maybe they bought a rental just because they could afford it. Bought a rental but don't know nothing about nothing. They don't know about management. They don't know about tenant laws, about tenant rights. They don't know about landlord laws, landlord's rights, nothing. And they just like, if the toilet breaks, they want to go and fix it up themselves. So they end up becoming super tired. That's what we call tired landlords, which we love as investors.
We love them.
And so I started telling her, I said, listen, really, the difference between the stocks, crypto, and real estate, because she wanted to sell the property, take the money and dump it into the stocks and crypto. I said, the difference is this. If you invest in stocks and crypto, which is great investment, by the way, if you know what you're doing.
Just like real estate.
Right. The difference is this, though. Real estate is physical. Okay. If you have your money with me right now, the $150,000, I said you can drive to this location and see a house. You can touch it. You can take it back. Okay. It has as long as the terms is right, the paperwork is great, and I buy right as an investor, I'll always be safe, right? If I don't gamble, which that's why I don't go to Vegas. I don't gamble. Okay, that's why I'm in real estate. And so I say the difference though between stocks. Let's say I buy a stock, a gold stock. Okay, I buy a gold stock, and that stock goes. It happened recently. Somebody from the crypto world filed billions and billions, right?
And take care of all the money and run.
Let's say you have gold stock right now, and somebody filed bankruptcy on you. Where are you gonna go? Which location? Give me the address. You don't have it.
Mm-mm.
There's none. It's
Can't
air, right?
physically get the money. It's all in the air.
It's air. It's all in the air. It's somebody telling you you invested in gold. You have no fucking clue if
Mhm.
there is gold or no gold. Can I drive to? I say that's the difference between real estate. Now it's great to do these other investments. We do it too, but we also take some of our money and we play in hard assets, which is
Absolutely.
real estate. When she understood, she was like, "Man, I've never thought about it that way. You never talked to Mamadou before, right?" And so we ended up. Here's what we ended up doing: her $45,000 loan. The end of the story is even great because she did way more. Our $45,000 loan, I ended up finding out is an ARM, is the adjustable rate mortgage. We don't deal with that. Why? Because if in 28, when the crash happened, most people that filed bankruptcy was people that was gambling with these loans that are adjustable rate mortgages. What that means is the lender can raise the rate on you
Anytime.
anytime. And
Your
so you
next
start
monthly payment can jump up
literally,
significantly.
we talked to a seller yesterday. Actually, somebody called me on the lead on a $700,000 property pre foreclosure. Okay, do you know why they didn't pre foreclosure? Because they started with 2.5 interest rate, and the lender just raised the rate on them close to 7%,
That's huge.
and now they cannot afford the payment, so they literally just vacated the house.
Wow.
Okay, that's what adjustable mortgages do to you. Every single time somebody from '08, which is the same exact thing, happened to Dave Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Uncle Dave is so against um,
Arm.
debt. But he made the mistake of going and gambling with arm loans. That's the problem. And so we don't touch it. So I told her this: Hey, how about you pay off the $45,000? Use your stock and crypto money. You pay it off. So now instead of me going to another lender and getting 7% because the rates right now is high, how about I give you a return instead of going and giving a return to somebody else? You just pay it off. We do a straight seller finance. She was like, man, she paid it off. She
Only
wrote
because you knew her could you offer her that. We would never offer that to somebody.
it.
Hey, just go pay it off and let me take it. She
Why
loves
not?
it.
Because people are afraid of the no. I've been trained to go for the no,
Go for it.
right? Especially, it's all about how you say it, not what you say, right? At this point, obviously, we had multiple conversations, established credibility, all of that. So she literally, sis, she went, paid off some of her crypto, cash out on some of her crypto or stocks, I don't even know, and then she paid it off. She paid up, literally, Pace Morby is giving me $2,000 for this deal on how creative it was.
Let's
But she
go,
paid it off
Faith.
with this great seller finance. Now it's going to be a midterm rental. We're going to cash flow about 2,500 a month. And right after we close, guess what else? This lady called me. She goes, her name is Kim, a really good friend of mine now. Relationship again, guys. I'm
We
all about
want
relationship.
friends, not one-time deals.
She called me. She goes, Mamadou, what else you got? I want to invest with you in real estate. She already have another $50,000 invested with me
Boom.
on other deals, not on her own property, on other one of my Airbnbs. Actually, two of my Airbnbs. So she went from a seller to becoming a bank on her own property to becoming a private lender after we close, and boom, boom, boom.
I want to
That's
go back to something that you said was when we're making these calls, take away what you think is going to happen because look at what can happen when you open your mind.
exactly,
It's huge.
exactly,
That is
right.
awesome, brother. And it's because you're so creative, great at
Yeah,
building rapport, good communicator, and you never give up.
yeah.
Super,
And I'll
super.
tell you guys one thing right now. If you're not present on social media, I don't know what the heck you're doing. Because every single seller I talk to, my credibility is my social media.
Mind you,
Hey, how do I know who?
you
Right.
made me
How?
do it.
There you go. How do I know you're credible? This and that. I just send them Instagram, YouTube, whatever. They go see me walking properties, doing this, so they know I'm in this business.
I want to say that the power of YouTube and social media is so huge because now people already know me that haven't even spoke to me because they
There
feel
you
like
go.
they already know me from social media. And you
Yeah, like
told me, you
Pace,
were like, go do it.
Moore always says. He says you're just creating clones of yourself, right? That's
Yes.
exactly what we're doing. I mean, on social media alone, I just started my YouTube channel. It's growing great right now, but like just on Instagram alone, we've raised over 3 million just on Instagram.
Whoa.
Easy. You know what I mean? So it's not, and it's funny because most people that will invest their money with you, they will never actually even like your videos or
Mhm.
comment.
They're watching.
They will just watch it.
You raised
And
3 million on a free
yeah,
platform.
and
How
you just get,
powerful.
here's a DM. The DM is always, hey Mamadou, I have 20 grand I want to invest. Hey Mamadou, I have 50 grand I want to invest. That's it. And I'm
Who
like,
is this?
right? Oh, I've been following you for a year. What? And I'm looking
What?
at my I've never seen a like, but it makes sense because I literally heard somebody say this on the mastermind. He said, actually, most people that will invest money with you, they're so busy making money, they have no time to scroll social media.
Oh yeah.
And so most of the people that are leaving comments and arguing in your comments,
They
is
are
they have
doing a
nothing going
thing.
on. They're not doing a thing.
They're not
So the
busy.
people that will spend money with you just keep posting. You don't know who's watching.
Mhm.
And so yeah, there you go, sis.
And you never know what post it is. Another
Exactly.
thing is that when you talked about the credibility of who you are as a real estate investor and a guru, it's because we do a lot of research. We have
Right.
several exit strategies. We're not doing good deals, we do great deals. Like
Yes.
every time, you have to make sure it's right, and you have to
Yeah.
account for things that you never think are going to happen. That's why you were able to fix the fix and flip and
I'll,
still
I'll tell you. I'll
earn.
tell you this. Right? Anybody right now sitting there, if you want to get into real estate investing or any type of business, actually, number one, if you're not ready to have 11 hours a day of work, like don't even start. Keep your nine
You
to
work
five.
our butts off
Okay, the 8 hours thing is a
out the window.
I don't even know how you call it. What's the word I'm looking for? It is a dream. Okay, you're gonna get it. In entrepreneurship is 11, but guess what? I don't look at it as work. I'm passionate about this thing. I don't even see. I don't even count the time. I don't even see it passing. I don't care,
I
right?
don't.
So that's number one. Number two, if you are scared of few things here, don't even start a business. I heard Elon Musk say something I absolutely agree. He said, if you're quote unquote an entrepreneur and you need motivation, don't start.
Yeah.
Like you're not. Go back to the
Your why
workforce.
is not big enough if you need
Okay?
motivation.
So, and if you are afraid of these few things, especially in real estate, if you're afraid of tenant headaches, if you're afraid of a fix and flip going wrong, renovations going wrong, you going over budget, a GC running away with your money, don't get into it because it's going to happen, by the way. It's not about what happened to you, it's how you get up. I've lost money on deals. We can like on maybe on another episode. I can like if you guys go on my YouTube channel right now, you know, JL, I show
You
the
know,
ugly,
I'm gonna have you put in all of those plugs. They
right?
need to
I
be
don't
caught up.
care, guys. So just so you know, we're not just here winning. I've lost money on deals. I've broken even on deals. One thing is I don't bitch about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just move on and I go out and make more money. And so it's like it's not the end of the world. It's gonna happen. So if you're afraid of tenant leaks, tenant suing you, somebody trying to sue you,
They say
how
you're
do you
not
call
doing enough business till you get
it? Yeah,
sued.
like losing your earnest money because you locked up a deal that you thought, oh man, I see these Airbnb numbers were great, and then you end up finding, oh shoot, you cannot do it here. So like it happens all the freaking time. I
I've
talk
had
to
so many
my
failures.
attorney, my closing attorney. I talk to him daily,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot tell you the amount of transactions that go to escrow and never closes.
Yes, so
Okay,
many.
right. So I just want to make sure if you're sitting there, you want to get into like you gotta have some. You have to stop being a sissy,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to build a thick skin. That's what entrepreneurs do. You take losses and you take wins. The thing is, you're trying to have the wins be way greater
Then
than
the
the losses, but the reality is the losses is where you learn from.
yes.
The losses is where you learn from. So if this is why like most of my best and greatest deals is always the one where I either broke even, lost or almost lost, and I ended up winning still, but like where it was super challenging.
And you usually don't realize why you had to go through it until way down the line. And you like, that's why I had to go through all of that
This
crap.
is like look at this. I told you guys my sad story on how I ended up in a refugee camp, right? Okay. I'm 33 today. 33 years later, throughout all my journey, everything I've been through in life, the way I think right now, the way I behave, the surroundings that I have, like the future is so freaking bright. God willing, God give me many more years to come. When I look back at my journey, I actually like one day I had to sit and flip it around. I'm like, whoa, what happened? You know what story helped me throughout my journey, like stay, because I used to be very, especially when I was before 17, 18, I used to be very quiet person. Like I would, if we were on a dinner table, I'm sad and quiet, right? Because I'm always thinking like, my family. I spent 13 years without seeing any single body from my family.
Whoa. Can
13 years of my life. So I was raising myself. Okay. One day, I'm sure I'm a Muslim and you're a Christian, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Bible have the story of Joseph. In Islam, in the Quran, we have the same story, the story of Joseph. How he have this dream. He goes and tell it to his dad, and his dad is like, "Listen, the human being is an envious being. Do not tell your brethren about your dream, because your dream is actually something like is the plan is the plan that God has for you."
Mhm.
So his dream was, when he's playing to his dad said, "You're gonna become a great king.
Mhm.
But all these challenges you're gonna go through, the end of it, you're gonna become a great king." Just to keep it in a nutshell, right? And so he went, and guess what? His brother was jealous of him because his dad loved him so much as a
Mhm.
child. What did they end up doing? They ended up throwing him in a well, and then he got taken by some other people passing by, and then he got sold. That's the story. And then he got sold as a slave.
Wow.
But as a slave, he ended up in the king's home, and the king's wife told him, "Hey, let's adopt this kid as our child." So she
Wow.
took care of him.
Still happen.
And later in life, he became a king through his
Mhm.
journey, right? And so it's like, I'm thinking, I'm like, that journey helped me a lot get out of, like, when I promise you, I used to read this story over. I'm like, whoa, if God hadn't taken him through all this journey, he would have never been ready for the position he has right now. He
Your
was in,
envy of the past now becomes
right?
gratitude.
So my journey that I've been through, how did I learn English?
Mhm.
I learned English in that refugee camp by myself. My English is self-taught. I learned English there. My community where I'm from, super close-minded people, very close-minded people. So if I didn't grow up with all these different nationalities, guess what? I would be the same right now. Very close-minded, right? I wouldn't have such a wide view and very open to trying different things. And so my journey is what shaped who I am right now, but I'm just realizing it now.
Yeah. And that's
And
why
so
I connect with every religion because it's all
right,
similar. It's all the
right.
same. We all have the same goal of being the best people we can be. Look
Yeah.
at the
So
similarity in stories.
the bottom line is, man, I don't care how hard your journey is, what you're going through, like your journey is what shapes you,
Mhm.
right? And so that's another thing. When you get really successful, what do people want to hear?
Mhm.
Your journey. If
Yes.
you don't have a story to tell, that's what people relate to. If you don't have a story to tell, where are you going to get a story to tell if God didn't take you through challenges? So
Yep.
that's how I look at it now. So I'm like, man, I'm actually so grateful that I went through this journey. Thank you,
Most
God. Thank you, Dad.
other
Thank you,
thing
God.
that
If I
you
don't, God,
have
take me back again, right?
is your belief. Like you
Yeah.
already knew
So,
that you could do it. That is so
yeah.
huge. That
So,
journey is real. And that's why I wanted you to be on the channel today because people have to hear what you came from, what you went through, and where you are and where you're going, which is even greater than where you are right now.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane. So
I'm excited. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm super super excited. I know it's way beyond real estate. I can
because you
feel
keep
it.
your mind open. Don't even
Yeah,
project that future because it's bigger than you can imagine, brother.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
so proud of
So
you, and I
just
can't
just
wait to
grateful to
see you
God.
there. So tell the people where they can find you, how to get in touch with you.
Guys, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, please. My Instagram is, I think I have it. Yeah, right there. Real Estate Diallo, Real Estate Diallo, Diallo, D as in David. And you can find me on YouTube, Mamadou Diallo. Usually, my name is super popular in Africa, but not in the real estate space. So, but I think Jael can add it in the description on her YouTube as well,
Absolutely.
so that you guys have it. But mainly, I'm super active on those two, always putting out new content. So that's where, if you want to connect with me on Instagram. I respond to every single DM, and my YouTube.
Yes, and you guys, you can connect with him from his Instagram on Calendly. Set up a
Yeah.
private message. If you have deals, send them my way, Mamadou's way. He's willing to help everybody. So thank you for being on the channel, Mamadou. I'm gonna close us out, brother. We really
Thank you.
appreciate you, and I hope people learned a lot today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on another great interview on Invest, Buy, and Sell with Jael. Follow my brother Mamadou Diallo. He's a giver and he has a great heart and can't wait to help you guys on some deals. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.